sixth graders, this is Mrs. Munoz. And as we're looking at mechanical weathering today, I thought I would go ahead and do a quick experiment that you can try at home to show another form of mechanical weathering. This particular one, you'll get a chance to go ahead and see. It's called abrasion. So what you're gonna need are some basic things that you have at home. I grabbed a paper plate. My daughter's 3, and so I just rated her on chalk. So you're gonna need some colored chalk. Sidewalk chalk is great. So she had broken up pieces anyway. If you don't have broken sidewalk chalk, you're gonna need 3 sticks of chalk that are 3 different colors. So I've got a couple pieces here that are pink, a couple here, as I throw one, that are green, and a couple that are purple. And just go ahead and break those up. You're gonna need some basic table salt that you would go ahead and use at home. And so I'm just gonna pour some of that into a container. Okay, so I've got some salt that's in there. Pour a little bit more. I'm not measuring that out, but I do want to have, you know, a decent amount of salt that's in there. And then you're going to need some kind of a plastic cup. And then finally, something that you can put the chalk and the salt into that will seal. So some things that you might have at home would be like an old peanut butter jar with a lid that you can screw on. You need to have it screw on there. I also had a mason jar at home. I thought about using this until I remembered I have this shaker for this Shakeology. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and put it in here because I'm a clumsy person and me putting things into glass is a bad idea. So I'm gonna take the top off and I'm gonna start off with pink. So I'm gonna take my pink pieces of chalk and throw those in here. And I'm gonna go ahead and add my salt. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and cover this up. Screw it on, make sure your top is sealed. You don't wanna get salt all over the place. And then I'm gonna give it a pretty good shake. Shake, 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 shake. You can already start to see that this is happening, that this is changing. And if you decide to do this at home, I would say go ahead and try this for like at least a couple minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out now. And so I'm gonna take the lid out. And what you can see is, one, I've got a little bit of chalk dust. And also, you'll see, just by looking at the side here, my chalk is still in there. I still have my pieces of chalk, okay? But what I've got is colored salt, okay? So I'm gonna set that aside for a little bit. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna grab my orange. Nope, this is not orange, this is green. I'm tired. And I've got a new container because I don't want to mix that up. So I could have pre-measured the salt out, but I'm not going to bother. Here it is. I'm not mixing it with my pink, but I am throwing it back in my shaker here. You guys made a prediction earlier about what you thought would happen here. And so shaking this up, shaking this up. Now this time, I want you guys to think about what's happening each time I shake this up. Because we know that chalk is a pretty soft solid. And so even holding on to this piece of chalk, you can see that I got a little bit of chalk on my finger. And so imagine each of those small granules of salt kind of rubbing up against this chalk that's on there. So this could sort of represent wind that's pushing pieces of sand, other things that are abrasion is kind of sliding past each other. And that motion of rubbing up against each other it's starting to break up my rock. Give it a couple more shakes. And I didn't even go for very long. Whew, look at that. You can definitely see that some of it's getting worn away because it's so late. I'm gonna give it a little bit more shake. That green isn't quite the color I was hoping. On your prediction, I asked you guys to do 4 minutes. I don't want you to wait that long, but I definitely need to shake it. You can kind of see why the glass isn't a great idea. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pour this out. And I have this light green salt. And I've got one final one, and you're starting to realize what's happening here. Okay, so I'm gonna throw my purple in here and pour it in together. It's a decent amount. Doesn't take real long. And my big pieces of chalk are still in there. You'll notice, like, here's my green from the earlier. My purple chalk. My daughter is out sledding. She won't even notice that I've taken her chalk. I'm gonna take the big chunks out if I can. If you have smaller pieces that stay in there, that's fine. But now I wanna show you what we are gonna do with these. So if this was out, and obviously in nature, this wouldn't be happening inside of a container. But what we would have are these really soft pieces of rock that are having other granules of rock that wear away and scrape on those and are breaking off. And you'll notice that I'm now getting these sediments here that are colored. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this together so you guys can see what happens in layers. So my first one is my pink. Here comes my green. I'm not sure how well you can see that till I pour it in. And here comes my purple. Okay. If you look on here, you can see that I have 3 different layers. And over time, we're going to talk a little bit later about how these fine pieces, because they are now like these fine pieces of sand almost like, that have changed the colors because they've got the minerals from the rock that have now been added to them, can create these layers that are eventually going to become sedimentary rock. I'm going to hang on to these, and I'm just going to throw these in the window so later on when we get to building rock, you can do that. I hope you try this one at home.